Dogs and pets. Should you own them as a human being? Is owning pets a conscious and spiritual thing to do? I'm going to argue no. No, it's not. But I'm biased. I don't really particularly like hairy, furry pets, animals. Dogs and cats is usually what people own, and you have to pick up their poop. You have to walk them every couple of hours. You have to take them to the bathroom. You have to feed them. And my biggest issue with owning pets and dogs is you have to feed them other animals. Hey, there's an intelligent cow. Let's slaughter it and feed it to the less intelligent dog. This is a little bit of a twisted brain thinking process. You shouldn't do that. If you have pets, what can you do? You can switch them to a vegan diet. I know that's absurd. That sounds absurd. Maybe it is absurd, but it's a possibility. And if veterinarians say, vets say, that you can do it and your dog can be healthy, then you should do it. You have an ethical responsibility to do so because you don't want other animals to suffer needlessly for some little pooch to survive or to not even to survive, for their taste pleasures to be satisfied. That's my biggest issue with pets, is you have to feed them slaughtered animals. And also, my friends, why are you owning dogs or cats? Is it some big spiritual need that you have? Oh, I need someone to cuddle with. Why don't you just get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? You don't need a hair all over yourself and a dog's breath. Dogs don't usually brush their teeth, so they have quite unpleasant breath. Similarly, cats don't even like you to begin with. They don't really care about you at all. They just want you to feed them and then just go away. Here, pet me whenever I want, and then please let me sleep for 20 hours of the day. Dogs are a little bit, they know how to, well, whatever. Dogs are dogs, cats are cats, and I understand why people have pets, but I don't have pets. I used to have pets, don't have them anymore. And I'll turn this over to you, James, my friend, my co host, someone I've been talking with for some time now on my YouTube channel. So, what do you think about this? Should people have pets, or what are your thoughts in general? Pets.
Good to see you again, Shiva. Yeah, I mentioned this thing about pets and dogs in another one of our videos because I saw your video on your take on owning dogs and pets, and then I saw your video, you with your cat. That was a pretty cool video. I tend to be more of a cat person myself. I've never actually owned a dog myself, but I've grown up around dogs, because my family members have them and stuff like that. And it seems as though everybody is using dogs these days as some kind of coping mechanism, which is not very good, in my opinion. Like, even I was seeing like a counselor a long time ago, and they're like, "Have you ever thought about getting a dog?" And I kind of thought to myself, I can't even take care of myself, and this guy's telling me to get a dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in there having issues. I think most people's issues stem from lack of money, personally. But I mean, that was just one of my issues at the time. And so now, 2024, it's like everybody has a dog, and that dog is using the bathroom all over the place, and I can't go outside without seeing people doing this. And it's, especially if you live in a dense city, New York City, whatever. And I feel like people are kind of ignoring a lot of things in this realm, and this happens to be one of them. And then, where I live, like, there's actually a pet cemetery here. So dogs are being so on one end you have dogs, on a leash, which is they're basically a prisoner, or people put them in cages, they're actual real prisoners. And then on the other hand, dogs are actually being treated better than human beings. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but there's a lot of people who don't have a place to live. They don't have anything, and then you have these dogs who are like super pampered, going to the spa. They actually have a retreat for pets here where I live, like a pet vacation. I mean, we're living in some crazy times, Shiva. I mean, I could keep bringing up stuff. It's not really about food for me. Yeah, I know you're more focused on, you know, eating and stuff like that. That's like a byproduct to me. I mean, that's diving deeper, obviously, than diving. But I'm more concerned of the psychosis of human beings to where they're using dogs as a coping mechanism and not really like people have kind of separated, and then now you're with your dog. Anyway, I'll pass it back over to you.
Yes, very valid points. I'll bring them up as I remember. So you said that you can't go outside, they're peeing and pooping everywhere. Yes, dogs pee and poop literally everywhere, or especially dogs because you don't really take cats out, but dogs poop everywhere. I was thinking about this that, and I was in Australia a while ago, and there was this beautiful patch of grass outside right next to the ocean. I thought, what a wonderful, majestic place. Let me lie down in this grass and just enjoy the nature flowing through me. And then a thought came into my mind. Dogs poop on the grass, and they also urinate on the grass. And not just in one spot. Oh, this is located for pets to pee and poop. Everywhere. It's not safe. No one is safe. No place is safe. You go lean against a tree, guaranteed a dog has marked it. Why are you there? Well, if you're unfortunately don't have your own private backyard or private little grass space, if you go outside, you're almost certainly landing in a place that has been peed or pooped on by a dog. Maybe that's already gone away by rain, but still, the memory, the residue, that's there. That's too scary for me. I'll never do that. This also came as a realization when I had my own dog, where I was taking care of someone else's dog and I was walking him and he peed and pooped everywhere. And I realized, oh my God, I will never again lay down on public grass. That's a recipe for disaster. At the very least, maybe I'll get lucky like winning a lottery and I'll lay down on a patch of grass that's never been touched, but that's not a chance that I'm going to take. Yes, pet cemeteries also, I mean, you have to kind of, okay, I understand, kind of. But you touched upon a very valid point that pets are being taken care of better than some human beings are. It's like people don't have enough food to eat, and then some dogs have their own little house or their own little thing. That's kind of like almost leaning to you're not mentally healthy when you're doing this to your pets. It's a dog. Let's just all pause and reflect that it's a furry animal. It's a four-legged animal that goes and chases rabbits and eats them alive. If it didn't have food that you bought from Costco, that's what it will be doing. Or it'd be begging from scraps for human beings, from human beings. So first is a dog, then it's its species, whatever species it is, then its personality, then it's its name. So fundamentally, it's the animal first. And you're pampering the animal, treating it like a human being. That's a little bit wrong. And also, yes, human beings, I largely see this, that they get pets because they don't know how to suit their own emotional needs. They think that they get this pet that so desperately depends on you and loves you no matter what because you feed it food. It's very difficult to get a dog not to like you. That your emotional needs are going to be fulfilled. No, that's the inappropriate way of doing it. You need to work on yourself as a human being and not invest in some furry animal, even though they're cute, whatever, and take care of them for 6, 12, or 15 years. Don't do that. Next topic we're going to talk about is Sadhguru owning pets and dogs, but I'll leave it off to you. James, what are your thoughts and opinions on this?
Yeah, the main thing for me is I don't have a problem with people owning dogs and pets if they have land. Most people don't have land, right? Most people are living in dense populated cities. I was just watching a YouTube video on Mumbai, which is very, very hectic place. Uh, if you have some acres and you're not around people and there's not just cars all over the place, please get pets. I know people in Texas have all different kinds of exotic animals and stuff, but I feel as though in densely populated areas, it's becoming contaminated, like we were talking about with these things that come out of the pets, and also seeing them on a leash or in a cage, or now people will have them in their backpacks and stuff like that. So, and you can't even get on an airplane sometimes without having a dog right next to you. Completely crazy stuff. So me personally, if I was in control of the world, unfortunately, I would take drastic measures with a lot of things, and that would be one of them. But first thing I would do is divide it up, and here you go, Shiva. Here's 50 acres for you. Here's 50 acres for them. Here's 50 acres. Let's divide it up. Let's stop, building cities up into the sky and pretending like everything's all right and ignoring how much land is just right over there, 100 miles that way. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, no problem at all if you have the land, but let's prioritize what we're doing in this world before we get to this, I mean, it's going in the wrong direction, Shiva.
Yes, so you brought up that I agree that if people had land, no real issue for you to have dogs. If you have working dogs, like if you're a farmer and for whatever reason you're farming animals, I mean, like you kind of have to have a working dog, and that's a blessing. Wow. Some people have working dogs because they are visually impaired or they have other physical impairments. That's also admirable. But if you just have a pooch because you're lonely, that's a little bit. There needs to be more. The problem is that there's an overabundance of animals or overabundance of pets. They reproduce, and there's way too many of them on the streets, and a lot of them get euthanized. That's very sad and unfortunate. So you have to kind of unburden them. But my biggest issue is that cows and pigs and chickens have to be slaughtered for them to eat. This is just backwards. Oh, little Poochie, I love you so much. Please, quickly, butcher that cow so that we can feed this little pooch. No, why don't you care about the other animal? Well, you don't have the same connection. Because why? You haven't been raised with them, or for whatever other reason, or you're not right in your brain. All animals deserve the same treatment as dogs do. You think dogs are special? They're not special in any way. A cow is way more intelligent than a dog. And intelligence should be valued much more seriously than it is now. We value human beings that are intelligent. Well, we also value animals that are intelligent. Dolphins are very intelligent and very respected. Anyways, moving aside the point. Something I want to question you on a little bit here, James, is that you say that you have a problem with leashes. Well, some dog owners that walk their dog on a leash, the dog is always pulling because the dog is so excited. It's like a little child in a little 7 year old in a little dog's body, and it just wants to play it constantly. And the owner has to walk because it's so slow, and the dog is yanking his neck because he wants to explore life. That's a little bit also wrong. But can you just leave him on the streets and let him run into traffic? No, that's also wrong. So some balance needs to be had. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, this is a great subject you just brought up because just today I was riding the city bus through Clearwater, Florida, and I saw like a 3 pound dog pulling an old obese guy and he had an oxygen tank on, and he was on one of these electric wheelie things, and the dog's like 3 pounds, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then when I was out in San Francisco, of course, there's a fentanyl epidemic out there. So on the street, you would see these street people, half dead people with just pit bulls. So they would be like dead on the street, and there'd be a pit bull right next to them. That's another one. And then the worst of all, Shiva, are the people who abuse the dogs while they're on the leash and like just treat them with severe disrespect. I can't stand to see animal abuse, and I do see it. People don't train their dogs. The dog's like doesn't want to move or whatever, and they're dragging the dog by the neck. Also, an extreme thing happened here during the hurricane. I can't remember which state it was in, but it was in America. Somebody tied a dog up to a fence, and then it flooded. So I mean, what's going on with dogs, Shiva, is a um, direct thing from what's going on with humans because humans are kind of in the same issue as dogs. They're being treated as cattle in a way, and people don't seem to realize that. And so now they're treating their animals the way they're abusing the animals just as they're being abused. So this is kind of a big topic that I don't know if we can dive that deep into right now. But I'm glad that you're open to discussing these things because most people are just like, oh, I love this little furry, fluffy, whatever. But I mean, if you have any kind of sense about you, which obviously we do, you can kind of see that, humans are being disrespected and then they're basically treating their pets as they're being treated.
Yes, that is correct. That is true. It is a little bit of a deeper subject. We're not going to dive into this. There's no
Yeah,
time. But
yeah,
I do want to lean more into the conversation of spirituality and Sadhguru to be particular, because Sadhguru owns dogs, or at least I've seen videos of him owning dogs. Sadhguru is seen to be petting a pug, a tiny dog, and some recent videos, more controversial videos of Sadhguru saying the B word. I'm not going to say the word here, that represents female dogs. And he was trying to make a political statement, and he was also with his dog, with his pug. So I don't know if he owns these dogs or these dogs are just rescued or what they feed the dogs. Because on the Isha Yoga Center, there's no meat. Do they buy meat to feed the dogs? Maybe if there's some brahmacharis listening to this, I know some potentially are, maybe listening to this, or people that are in the Isha Yoga Center, let me know. What does Sadhguru feed his dogs? Is it animal flesh? I think that'd be very absurd, and I would kind of see a little bit less of Sadhguru if that was the case. I'm not sure if it's the case. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I don't want to conclude things. So, what do you think? Is owning dogs spiritual, and what do you think about Sadhguru having dogs or anything else?
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I kind of didn't watch that Guru as much as you have been ever since things have happened. But I do remember this dog. I think somebody gave it to him. Is from the last time I heard. Probably you heard the same thing. Is somebody just gave it to him. I wouldn't. I don't think I would imagine Sadhguru going out and buying it. I That's what I heard is that somebody just gave it to him. That little pug looking thing. Uh, are dogs spiritual? Like I said, if you have land and the dog is free and it's, you know, spiritual, doing spiritual things outside and not being, cooped up in a box its whole life, I could see how that could be. Or maybe the dog is eating lizards off the ground. I don't know. You know what I mean? Dogs do dog things. They attack other things and eat them sometimes. So, you know, like I said, I'm more of a cat person. I'm kind of like you. Like I've always liked cats. So, uh, I'm actually here's what I'll tell you about dogs is I got bit probably when I was in my early or mid 20s. I was at work and I got bit by a black pit bull, a pit bull mixed with a black lab, and it put me in the hospital. So I learned very quickly that I learned a lesson. So maybe dogs are spiritual. Let's just call it how it is. Dogs are spiritual. So the dog did not bark. Okay, this dog did not bark. It warned me. Okay, I was at work, so I kind of had to be there. Had to walk past it. The dog was on a leash. The people put out the food for it, and then things happened. And so, but what it didn't do was it didn't bark before it easily sliced through me. Like it barely even tried. And then I looked inside my hand and I fainted. So I think dogs could probably teach you a lesson if you're open to learning. I learned a huge lesson there that, um, you don't really want to show your cards before you do something. You don't really want to like make a lot of noise. You just if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Don't like talk about it, just do it. So anyway, let's get back on the topic here. The food thing, I don't yeah, it's I mean, I don't know what they're feeding the dog over at Isha Yoga Center. I'm not. I mean, we're talking about Isha Yoga Center and their contradictions or whatnot, but I, I it's not that big of a deal to me, honestly. So back over to you.
Yeah, I want to point out that if you listening out there and you're a big animal lover and support animal stuff and you care about dogs and you're really passionate, oh, these people are saying not kind things about dogs. Well, what about the other animals? You have to be consistent also. People, for some reason, don't care about chickens, pigs, and cows, but they deeply care about dogs and cats. Why? Well, it's hypocrisy. There's no good answer. Oh, you may say, oh, human beings have domesticated dogs and they're humans' best companion and humans' best friend. Well, yes, so can a cow be domesticated, meaning it could be with you, and there are domesticated cows in India. Anyways, I'm not going to get to it because I don't know firsthand. I don't have personal experience. But every single animal wants to live. And nobody wants to get butchered because you want to feed their body parts to a dog. That's a little bit absurd. I was a dog trainer. I tried this for a job in 2019 before the pandemic hit. It was very fun. My first situation with a dog was a dog. It was called like a Russian bear dog or something, a bear fighting dog. Uh, and it's a humongous dog. It looks like a little bear. And two or three of these, you can fight off a bear. That's what they're designed for. They're used for fighting off bears in for livestock. So this dog was aggressive to its family members, and I learned to help them. And so I learned quite a bit about dogs. Dogs and cats are a little bit different because cats are mostly indoor pets, so you don't really see them as much. But dogs create lots of problems outside. They poo and pee, and they bite people, and they're also very something very kind of exuberant.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, I don't think what's funny, interesting is that I remember hearing somewhere by some person that was had theories about conspiracies, and they said that oh, this new agenda, this new world agenda, they're gonna make sure that there's no more cats, dogs, and horses. They want to remove this from the place. And when I heard this, I was a little bit, but that might have some beneficial consequences because less animals will need to be slaughtered. That's my own personal opinion. Of course, I eat a vegan diet. I'm consistent with these statements. And what else needs to be said about dogs or cats or pets? Well, I'll turn it over to you. Whatever thoughts you have, please share with us.
Yeah, I mean, me being 41 years old, I've seen like so first there was like people would breed dogs a lot, and then it got to a certain point where they were like, all right, we've got enough dogs. There's so many in the pound. Now you can come to the pound and pick up a dog or give it away, or I don't know how it even works anymore. But they don't like breed, they breed certain breeds and they're really expensive. And but a lot of them are just in the pound and they're just like giving them away now. Like certain states like California, I think it's the law. You can't breed them anymore. I mean, obviously people still do it, but I feel that like this comes back to even humans. I feel like there's so many of us. I wish we could just press the stop button for a while and just be like, okay, we've got enough. Let's try and catch up to things and just stop what we're doing before we end up like Mumbai, India, and it's just you don't want that. You know what I mean? You do not want that many people because all you have to do is watch that video. Do you want to live like that? Do you want to fall off of a train because you're trying to get somewhere and there's nowhere to go? It's so I'm glad that we're having these talks, Shiva. I'm glad that we're trying to enlighten people. I'm glad that we're trying to make the world more conscious. I'm glad that you've got the Rudraksha Malas. I'm glad that you're bringing me back to Isha and you're doing it, so you're getting the credit. You are the new bringer of light for Isha. I wanted to bring that up. So basically, what we're getting at, ladies and gentlemen, is we have all got to become more conscious and more enlightened. And Sadhguru and Isha is a great way to do that. And we're going to get there through Shiva Kailash Shambho because for whatever reason we can't get there through the Isha Foundation. So Shiva Kailash Shambho is our portal to do this, and I'm not joking. Like you're bringing me back there. I'm gonna try and get back into it. You're bringing me into the light. It's working, and please support Shiva Kailash Shambho. Please send him 220 Canadian dollars. He will change your life. Please buy all the products. They will change your life. And we're going to do this one person at a time because what other option do we have at this point?
Yes, I think you said the most important part is that this is about educating the public and, most importantly, raising conscious human beings. This is what's most needed. This is an educational video to help you to, at the very least, I'm not telling you to believe anything, but hearing these different perspectives hopefully will enlighten your mind a little bit. What James is talking about, I offer some products, like I offer these beads for sale, but what I want to promote here very quickly, briefly, is you can do a spiritual reading with me for 220 Canadian dollars, as James said. We can talk, and I can help you energetically. This is not me logically telling you X, Y, and Z. This is a deep and profound mystical shift that will happen in your life. If those are bold claims, well, you can test me. So the links will be down below for my PayPal. You send me this money. If you need help, I'm an expert at helping people. So shout out to me. And getting back on this topic of owning pets and dogs and cats, I think this also ties into human beings and how they reproduce. I'm glad you brought this up because more education is needed. People need to be educated exactly as we're doing about dogs and pets and their benefits and also their downsides. There's lots of that. And also, simultaneously, people need to be educated on the reproduction side of things where human beings are involved. Because the countries that are the least, that have the least education available, they reproduce and breed the most. That's also for survival reasons. They want to make sure that their survival chances are improved. That's understandable. But when your survival needs are met, like for example here in Canada, people aren't reproducing as much because it's a conscious choice, and ultimately that has to be your conscious choice. So that's what we're here teaching the Dharma, teaching you to become a more conscious, more spiritual human being. And thank you for the kind words. I'm glad that I'm able to shed this message and spread this message. It all originates from this man, by the way, this great man, Sadhguru. I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't be anything without him. So we all first and pay respects to that great man. And turning it over to you. What do you think about this?
Well, yeah, like I said before, my focus has never been on what the dogs are eating, what the cats are eating, because I don't really haven't, like I said, I've known this for a long time. Like I'm not too involved with this realm. I'm trying to get out of this realm, so I'm kind of like in monk mode or whatever you want to call it. I don't need dogs and cats to keep me company. I'm cool just how I am. I don't need a dog. I don't need a cat. I don't need a bird. I don't need an iguana. I don't need fish. What I do need is, all these things used to be out in the wild for people to go out and hang out with, out in the wild, but then they wanted to bring them inside and put them behind a fence. And, human beings are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and we really don't need to do this. The animals should be outside in their element. But we as human beings should not be eating them. Then they'll realize that we're their friend and we can just hang out with them. We don't have to have them on a leash, in a cage, or anything. Like when I go to the beach, the dolphins are out there jumping around. They're cool. They're not in a cage. They're just there. Of course, they have to dodge these dumb human beings fishing lines and all this other kind of crap and speed boats or whatever you want to call it. But this is why we're talking. We're trying to bring a couple people to the light and realize that what humans are doing here is not the right thing, and we can try to reverse what is happening here.
Yes. And I think what concludes this podcast very well is talking about the five moral precepts that the Buddha prescribed for his monks and any layperson that was devoted to him. What are the five moral precepts? It's not a belief, it's a scientific fact that morality will change your life, make your life better, make your life more peaceful, make your mind calmer. So what is this? Is do not kill living beings, do not steal, do not lie, do not misuse your sexuality, and do not intoxicate your mind. These are nature's formulas. If you don't do these things, if we stopped harming animals in all the ways that we're doing that, human lives would be so much easier. The air would be cleared. It would be so much more comfortable to walk through the planet. But unfortunately, 100 billion animals have their throats sliced every single year. And that translates not only to other animals like your pets. I'm sure that people take out their anger a lot on their pets, especially on their pets, but also they take out their anger on other human beings. So we all need to live a more moral life, more ethical life, and be more respectful to life because we don't own life here. You don't even own your body to begin with. You need to be very gentle here on this planet Earth. You need to learn the laws of this universe, live in accordance with the law. That's how you make yourself happier and be free, be blessed. What else can I say? I leave the last words with you, James.
Well, just I appreciate talking to you. I appreciate that you were open to making this video with me. I talked about it in another video that I feel as though this is important because so many people are leaning on their dogs for support, and all the dog wants to do is just live a full life, be a full-fledged dog. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know what that is anymore. So we can talk about more of these subjects. There's literally millions of them, and we'll never get through them in this lifetime, but all we can do is try our best.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Join us next time where we discuss more spiritually potent ideas.